there now?
Security personnel aren't from. I think let me start from my view of my observation from when I left my house early this morning to this point. I would say that the reason, even though the governor announced a restriction of movement, police officers who is their duty to enforce it are nowhere in sight. As we speak, many residents are on their own, choosing to stay indoors. But for those who have made it out onto the streets, for vehicles who have braved the current situation to come out with their vehicles, they've been moving about freely without any enforcement of the restriction of movement. But the few security personnel you have here are those police officers who have been deployed, who have since been deployed to the research headquarters here to provide security. The few other security personnel you see are security details attached to certain leaders and political figures in the state who accompany their principals on this protest.
While the PDP is protesting the local government elections, saying the conduct of the local government elections, do you know if elections are going on in other parts of River State? All right, so we lost connection with Uche Okoro. At this point, we will be talking about the elections in River State, the local government elections in River State. I'm staying on this story, and we have with us Femi Lawson. Good morning, and thanks for coming at this time.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
So you've been following developments in River State and all of that. What has been your take on all of this issue so far leading up to this day?
This election, which ordinarily should have been a purely democratic process, has become one that has created an unnecessary tension in River State. And it's very unfortunate that most of those involved in this, until very few months ago, are members of the same political family. Mm-hmm. You know, majorly when you look at the governor and the rivals who are involved in this, disagreement over the conduct or otherwise of the election, they are members of the same political family until a few months ago. But ultimately, I think what should have been most paramount is the need, for the people of River State to be allowed to freely choose their representatives at local government level, especially at a time that the highest court in the land has now made it mandatory for every state to ensure that local government are governed by democratically, elected officials, and no room for caretaker any longer. So this would have been an opportunity for the people of River and for River State as a state to comply with that order, just like some other states. Only a few weeks ago, the Kwara State conducted local government election. Yes. On November 16, Ogun State will be doing the same. In January, Ondo State will be doing the same. And some other states where caretaker committee have its way in the past are not complying with that order. So why is there this, controversy around election or not in Rivers, especially from people, like I said, who are previously from the same political tendency?
So what impact could this election have on the landscape? Because there's this discussion or there's this proverb that says, when two elephants fight, the grass suffers. In this case, Wike is one of the elephants with the governor himself. How is this going to affect development overall in River State, and of course looking at the outcome of the election? The
genesis of the current crisis in River, the current tension in River, is not even about this. This election is just one of the issues that their differences has brought to the fore. Wike, being the former boss of the now governor, had political differences with the governor, and this has led to a lot of issues, including, even as we speak, the House of Assembly in the state is not properly constituted, based on suspension, counter-suspension, court order, counter-court order, and all sort of issues that we have witnessed over the last couple of months. Like you said, the impact of this is going to be on governance in River State, whether anybody likes it or not, because governor of River State will now be spending more time and more of his focus on addressing these political challenges that are confronting the state. Look at what happened a few days ago. He has to, personally lead, protests to rescue the Independent Electoral Commission office, from policemen who had, been alleged to have invaded, and some other instances where he has had to abandon governance, to face this issue of, political differences between himself and his, estranged godfather. It is directly taking its toll on governance in River State, even if you say that, of course, government activities are going on.
Yeah.
In any society where peace and stability cannot be guaranteed, it may be difficult to, to measure such as a developing society, irrespective of your investment into infrastructure, or economy of such a state.
Okay, so in looking at this whole development now, and Rivers is in the eye of a storm, many people, especially on social media, have seen saying that this is just like distracting the governor himself.
Just like I said, it's going to affect governance.
Definitely.
It's already a major distraction for the governor. But I would have expected that people would, being a democracy, would engage, in this in a more, civilized way, in such a way that we don't unnecessarily stoke in the ember of, violence. We don't unnecessarily preach violence and encourage violence. I've seen, people on both camps threatening, violence based on the current situation. It is very unfair because even as the election is holding today, it is very civil that we have seen people peacefully protesting, which they have right to do. But politicians, particularly those who are dissatisfied with the conduct of this election, have the right to approach the court. This is not the first time election will be in dispute in the country. It is very clear that when an election is conducted, if it violates the process, just like I was listening to, the PDP leader saying that, the processes have not been followed, 90 days notice, posting of, voters register. It is very simple. What is next is to approach the court. The tribunals are going to be constituted after this election, and whatever the outcome of the tribunal is, can be pursued to the highest court.
Are you saying rather than go on the streets and protest?
No, I said it is commendable that they have been peaceful.
But so rather than
preaching violence or threatening violence as a result of where you belong in this whole political, crisis.
All right, Olufemi Lawson, thank you so much for coming to talk to us about your thoughts on the developments in River State.
My pleasure.
Thank you.